Here we go.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, I'm Kimberly Smith Austin here, and I'm back with another episode of the Made to Inspire podcast. I am here today with my awesome and amazing co-host, Misty Kerrigan. Hey, Misty.
Hey, Kimberly, happy Martin Luther King Day. It is Monday, Martin Luther King Day, 2022, and Kimberly woke me up like at 8 this morning, already on fire about what today means and how we can utilize what happened in 1963 today in 2022 to help take you to that next level and impact the world.
Yes, I'm super excited. Now, for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're doing this show on Martin Luther King Day. Sometimes we pre-record weeks in advance, but today it's live and in action on the actual holiday. And I want to give you a little backstory to how this topic came to be. Now, you all know that I'm a woman of faith, and this morning in my devotion, I was reading my word and two things happened. The first passage, I can't even talk because I'm so fired up. The first passage was about potential. So as a consultant, as a coach, my natural mind went, ooh, I can teach this to my prospects and clients about potential. Then the second was about dream, having a dream and moving forward with your dream. And I was like, oh, that's good. That caused me to get out the bed and start taking notes. Walked away, boom, got a text from someone saying, hey, let's do a walk today for Martin Luther King's Day. And I go, okay, it's 7 o'clock. I hadn't planned it, but okay, let's see. Got a busy schedule, but let's do it. So we talked, and then I was like, okay, I got up, started brushing my teeth, and in the middle of brushing my teeth, boom, there it was. Today is a day to celebrate Martin Luther King and his dream, So guess what? My scripture, the walk, everything led me back to this place. And of course, our lovely shirts, the Dream Slayer. So like Martin Luther King has a dream, you do too. And today's show is all about that. We're so excited. Do you have a dream, Misty?
I have lots of dreams, but I definitely have one major definite purpose of a dream. And here's a pro tip. It's written down and read twice a day.
Yes, I love that. And you know, when you think about that, we want to talk about the power of the dream. Now, we know Martin Luther King gave this speech on August 28th, 1963 about his dream. Something that was resonated in his heart, in his head, in his mind. It was all over. And you know, his dream was to unify and bring us all together as a community. He had a big dream. And you know what? He was so passionate about it. He stood in the Washington, D.C., right there, and gave that speech to hundreds of thousands of people who wanted to hear what his dream was all about. And today we want to give you that inspiration. We want to give you the impact. We want to talk about the income. We want to talk about the influence of one man's dream. And today it's your dream. What are you dreaming? What are you believing? What's in your heart and head that you just want to get out into the world? So we're going to break it down into those 4 pieces. And let's start today, Misty, with the fact that when someone has a dream, the power of that dream and the fact that it can inspire not only them, but those around us. Talk about the inspiration, the first point in our talk today.
Well, science shows us that if you could rally around a specific point that has clarity, meaning, purpose, and other people can quickly take at that point on, that it works so much that people utilize it in major businesses. They call it a vision statement. A vision statement in the professional purpose legitimately is the dream of the company on the impact they're going to make in the world. And most vision statements, if any, don't have money attached to them. Like our vision is to be $1 billion. Most of them have the impact statement in that vision. So if you go back and even look at Martin Luther King's throughout the entire speech, it talks about the dream in many different ways. And the dream and the vision is not just affecting Martin Luther King and the King family, not just affecting Martin Luther King and his church or his city. but the nation and the world. So his dream was bigger than himself. So that's one of the first important things with that dream, and that inspiring others is inspiring others to action first starts with what that impact could be, so they could wrap their heads around it and stand behind it.
That's so good, because that's what we are here at Made to Inspire. If you all know, our tagline is inspiration to action. And when you take the definition that Missy just shared, when you have a dream and you're able to put the dream out into the world, people hear it and then they attach to it. It becomes not only your dream, but it becomes theirs. They see themselves inside of the dream. You are now inspiring them and it's living inside of them. That is monumental. When you think about the power, what inspiration can do for you, but how it's fueled our world. Martin Luther King's speech has fueled the world for decades. 1963, here we are in 2022. Next year, that speech will be how many years old, Misty?
That's a lot of math.
60 years old. And forgive me if I said that wrong, but yeah, I think it's 60 years old. And that's a little bit older than we are. And when you think about it, it's still alive today. That's the power of inspiration. Think about your dream, that thing that lives inside of you. It's inspiring you, but what if you put it out to the world? Who else could you get to attach and become a part of this dream that you have, and it becomes their dream, and before you know it, popcorn sparking everywhere.
Clarity. One of the most important steps is know your dream. Sit with your dream. Write your dream down. Clarify your dream. Pray about your dream. Run with your dream. Brush your teeth with your dream. So really having that, your dream when you want to sleep in and press snooze, gets you out of bed. Your dream when you want to scroll at night, gets you to sleep, because you know that the next day is so important. So your dream can be a gas station of inspiration and motivation. If it moves you, it's going to move others. If it's written and in clarity and the language come across where it is impactful. Even in Martin Luther King's, it was vision. You could vision when he was saying some of the things. And the vision at that time was unheard of. They were in a separate where there was whites only signs, whites only restaurants. There was I can't even imagine the dignity of walking somewhere knowing the sign saying stay the F out. But really having that, what if and one of my favorite lines in there is, what if man was judged on the content of its character? And that dream's not even where it should be today, 60 years later. And I think a lot of people are attaching back to this dream into the sense of it's better than it was in 1963, but it could be so much better if we all get behind it and have that momentum to really have the character of your, not just the color of your skin. So it is very inspirational. What I would recommend you today is download it and listen to it. Yeah. Sit somewhere quiet and just listen, and listen how, I don't care what religion, what color, what nation you come from. If you can go chunk it up a little deeper and really hear how and what he's saying when he said it at that time, take how personal it meant to him and how he was so eloquent in his words and what it still means today.
Yeah, I love that, Misty. And I was just thinking as you were speaking, his dream allowed us to be together right now on this screen. Right,
I always forget that
podcast. What's that?
I always forget that.
Yeah, it's because of his dream that we're unified as a community, as different cultures coming together. And that is one of the impacts of your dream. When you inspire others, you inspire others, right? When people inspire people, inspire people. And he was truly inspired, and that has changed the way we look at the world. Now, the second piece that we want to talk about is the impact. And we've said it over and over and over again. Imagine if that speech had not been given in 1963. Where would our world be? Now, here's the truth. Neither you nor I, we know the answer. We don't know what the world would look like, but I believe with my whole heart that because of that speech, we made one step, the second step, the third step, the fourth step to get closer to where we see today. Misty and I here on the screen being able to share. Today, you see people of multiple cultures and races coming together, building a life, families, building businesses, corporations, and transforming the way we do life. So the impact of his dream was gigantic, if that's a word.
It
It
is
was
now. Should be.
ginormous. It was huge. And in fact, it was larger than life. And I think that's what we think about when you have that dream inside of your heart. Don't just walk away from it because of fear or feeling like there's no acceptance. Think about what impact will it make on the world? How will your dream, that passion that resides inside of you, change the way we do things every single day, the way we see things, the way we see people, the way we impact people? That's power, friends. That's power. Now, Misty,
I
when
always
you
think
think
of that when
about,
I think of you don't know your impact. Your dream can be so big, but you don't know the wave or the drop in the. Well, I like to say it this way. You know, when you drop a rock into the water and it says, "Oh, that's the ripple effect." What it doesn't tell you is how many other rocks were dropped. Not just your ripple, but if your ripple inspired someone else to drop a rock in another way, and their ripple, you're still a part of that ripple that they're now because of your inspiration and your impact. And now it always reminds me of Bob Marley. And Bob Marley's music freed nations. Now, if you do some research on that, Bob Marley wrote amazing music, and other nations, other people in these nations heard it and wanted that dream for themselves, and it started revolutions in other nations. And I have to go out about that is, and Bob Marley started in the 60s. Bob Marley's music, right? So I think there's a little tie to there. So just knowing the ripple effect that he caused probably first started by that first stone that Martin Luther King Jr. caused. So it's very important to understand that even just having your dream, talking about your dream and starting to take impact on your dream is going to impact in ways that you may never know. And I think for me, that's one of the most exciting parts is you never know who's going to be impacted because you stood up with your dream.
I love that, Missy. And when you said that, it made me think about how many other people have been impacted by Martin Luther King's dream, but also by him opening up and sharing his dream, other people that opened up and then inspire other people to step out into their own. You know, one of the common ones I hear when you think about music, speaking of Bob Marley, we hear music. And today, even though it's a lot of rap and hip hop, a lot of these young folks are inspired by the works of the earlier person. You know, they're putting Michael Jackson beats in there. They're putting Led Zeppelin beats in their tunes because they're using that music as a source of inspiration. So when you think about the inspiration and the impact you had because you said yes, the impact you have because you stepped out on your dream, you didn't allow it to die inside of you. Les Brown says that the cemetery is the richest place on the world because people die with their dreams inside of them. Don't let your dream die inside of you. Use that as your power and step out into the world so that you can not only inspire people, but you can make an impact and change the way we live today.
And I love it because I think that brings us to step 3, which is there's a difference between inspire and the next step, which is influence. Mm-hmm. Inspire versus influence. And inspire makes people feel great and warm. I inspire you. Hopefully you listen to our podcast and you feel inspired. But influence is a little deeper than inspire. Influence is my actions moving forward was due to something that you caused a change in me. So influence, inspire is, oh, I see what you're doing. That makes me want to do it. Or I hear what you're saying and I get excited. But influence is something in me changed. And now I'm on a different path or I'm moving forward differently. So the influence that that speech made in the 1963 is just bold enough to say the speech had impact on its own. But the words in the speech, you could take almost any paragraph in that speech and just have that as influence. And then you shuffle them all together. And then the part where a lot of people lose it is at the end when the Let Freedom Ring, when you listen to it today, tell me you didn't have tears or chills because that last part is life-changing if you allow it to really seep into that, what that influence meant for everyone. The things we self-evidently hold true, there's such power in those words that you could take it still today and connect it to your dream and really have that excitement of, if my dream were to come to fruition, what would this world look like? If my dream were to be real today, How is my life different? My children's life different? My spouses, my friends, my family, my community? How would that look and how would that be different? So that's where that influence, when you get that to talk about it, you get other people influenced. There was a lot of people, I'm sure, that when they were first starting with the not riding the buses, right? That was influenced to make a decision to either not come to work or not go to work, or when they had it where it was really organized, where people were driving their own cars and getting cars to help people not to take the bus because of what it meant when they were making that impact and that statement that we will not be treated the way we've been treated and we will find other means other than that public transportation. That was the influence, that people's actions not getting back on the bus until the things change and the rules change. So influence is huge because it starts with getting inspired, but it's then moves to my actions, my thoughts, my beliefs are now different because of your life and your dream.
Yes. And that's really powerful. If you think about the times in 1963, all of the, segregation and things of that nature. The thing I think about is Martin Luther King with his speech, he had an impact. Of course, he was inspiring, but the influence happened also through the way of education. I think a lot of times there's ignorance that happen. When you don't know,
Mm.
you don't know. You can't do better. You can't change things. But when you get the knowledge, the information, that's another I word, the information, which he did and shared. He said, you know what, I'm doing this in a non-violent way, but I want to educate you. I want to share with you the impact of what this currently is doing to our world and our society. That education, that information allowed people to make decisions, even people outside of the Black or African American race, which is why you saw so many Caucasians and other people, white people, people of other cultures come in and say, I want to be a part of this movement. I don't believe that this should exist, this inequality. He made a huge statement. So if you think about the power that you have by simply the influence and doing that influence through information and education, how you can transform your community, how you can transform the world. Because again, ignorance is simply lack of knowing, lack of knowledge. And now that you have the knowledge, and Martin Luther King did a great job of sharing that knowledge and putting it out into the world. You, as an entrepreneur, how do you put information about what you do, how you can serve and change the world with information, which in turn will convert to inspiration? And I think it goes back and forth. You're inspired, then you're influenced, or you can be influenced, then inspired to do something about it. And that's what happened when they decided, I'm not riding the bus. I'm not doing this. That's the change that we see. And that's the power that you have in your dream. Don't let your dream die inside of you. Take action on it. Now, we have a fourth piece, Missy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about the income. And of course, we can't have a show about entrepreneurship on Made to Inspire without talking about the fourth I, which is income. Think about the inspiration, the impact, the influence, and how all of those things in a bubble will create a source of income for you. That's what marketing 101 is all about. You think about it. These are core principles that we teach. I teach at the university or wherever about these basic things. When you think about it, that's what lead magnets are. You're giving them information, you're influencing them, you're inspiring them to take some sort of action, which in turn will turn into a source of income. Now, that wasn't Martin Luther King's dream back in 1963 to create some income by his speech, but maybe it was. Maybe it was, because now doors open that had been closed. And as a result, now African Americans, people like me, could then go shop at other places. And guess what? Stores that were open to that idea then increased their income. So I'm just giving a unique spin on it. But when you think about it, that may not have been his mission. I'm almost certain it wasn't, but look at what it did. It changed the economy. It changed how and where African Americans shopped. It changed how and where not only African Americans, but people of all culture, where they could partake and decide where they want to spend their dollars. So as an entrepreneur, think about how can inspiration, impact, influence change the way you do business and how your bottom line is impacted directly. Now, Misty, I know you've over there bubbling with some ideas on that income side. I saw your hand go up. Share, do share.
Martin Luther King does talk about income in his speech. He talks about not working so hard to go from one ghetto to bigger ghetto. So I translate it as not working so hard to be poor, just to be poor around more people that are poor. But really having that income equals value. Value is prosperity, but having that equal opportunity for prosperity for all. And having that first thing that you have to do for prosperity is value in yourself and belief. Value in yourself and belief is going to be the first steps to having that prosperity. And in this speech, it might have been an awakening for some people to realize I am more than just walking to the back of the bus. I am more than just standing up. Like, I am equal to anyone on this bus. And that was huge back then, was to take people's mindsets from feeling, oh, at least I'm lucky enough to ride the bus, to feeling this is my country as much as anyone's, and I should have the same advantages as anyone, the advantages to prosperity, the advantages to having that income. And I think that's really important too, is if your dream, we're going to kind of say it again, is it's got to be bigger than you. Martin Luther King's dream was bigger than this nation, and crossing all nations and having that equal opportunity for the prosperity, that equal opportunity for the American dream, that the American dream is everyone's dream. And today, that American dream is still out there. There's millionaires making bed probably daily in having that. There's still new products to come out. There's still new systems. There's still new, this whole meta universe is crazy, but there is still some things that your dream still has impact. I don't care if it's 2022 and you think everything's been invented, sit down, because it hasn't. That's not even meaning electronics. And the crazy part is now a lot of companies are going back to traditional stuff. The most important part is the customer's experience. So really looking at now is the time. You've heard that in other podcasts. You're probably going to hear it all year, but now is the time to really get serious about your dream. And these are the steps to get you ready, excited. I want you on that starting line where you're waiting for the 3, 2, 1 gun to go off because you're vibrating, ready to go. But you got to start with some of these basic steps, which is having that clarity and having that inspiration for yourself and having something bigger than yourself. And that's where the income comes. We love, one of our favorite things is the Zig Ziglar. You could make money just by helping other people reach their dreams. You can't help but be rich if you're helping other people get rich, meet their dreams, have their value increased. That's kind of where the secret lies in the company. It's not about the income second nature when you're inspired and you have that service of how I'm going to help and serve.
So what I heard is the time is now. And there's nothing more important than right now, the importance of the present moment. No, maybe you weren't back in 1963, but you're here in 2022. And we've said on our show, now is the time. And when I think about Martin Luther King's speech, the overall goal, the ultimate goal in his speech was freedom. And that freedom came in so many forms, religious freedom. It came in, racial freedom, identity freedom. It came in financial freedom. There's so many things that we need to think about as we launch out of this space and launch into this world that we're in. Yes, we've been in the middle of a pandemic, but guess what? There was still a lot of growth, a lot of freedom that happened. People recognize that they love their freedom of not punching in on the clock or showing up at that workplace, taking that commute 16 hours away or whatever it is. There is a lot, and when I just want to really quick go back to, people are going back to some of the old ways. A friend and I were riding the other day in her Tesla. And the thing that came to mind, and if you're old enough to remember this, if you remember the Jetsons, think about what the Jetsons vehicle looked like. It looks like a Tesla. And I said that it's exactly like a Tesla. But you know what? The owner, Elon Musk, had a vision. He had a dream, and he created a vehicle that emulated something from the 1970s. I don't know how early the Jetsons came out, but that, if you go back, look at that car. It is the exact same shape of the Tesla. Think about also Star Trek. Then we went on this massive discussion about Star Trek and how before you could just go and start talking to your phone and it did stuff. Electronics. These are the things that we're doing today. Things of the past, they're back. So I say that to say now is the time. And we want to close out the show with some action points. We have 4 for you today, or three for you today. Three action points that we want to give you. And they go something like this. What's the first one, Misty?
Stop.
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 Stop. And I'm going to chime in first. Stop. And normally we're always like, go, 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 but we want you to stop sitting on the dream. If you've been sitting on your dream, you're just putting it on reserve. Maybe it's inside of a journal, a book or something, and it's not actively in use. Stop it. Stop now and make a decision that your dream matters, because we're here to tell you it does. And that no matter how big or how small it is, your dream can come to life. It matters. Now is the time. Number 2, Misty.
The opposite of stop. Start where you're at. Don't wait for the perfect well, after COVID, I'm going to, when I have $10,000 in my savings, I'm going to. So instead of that Black Eyed Peas song, I'm gonna be, stop. Stop saying I'm gonna start today in the present. What can you do today to get you one step closer, to get you started, to get you, what are you reading the book? I used to do this to my kids when I worked in the group homes. They'd be like, I'm going to be a rapper. I said, great. So you must be rapping. You must be writing down one song a day. What? No, you must be reading the dictionary, because you got to get those words, right? They got to rhyme, especially when you're in battles, right? No, I haven't. Well, you can be a rapper. You could even start today by writing down songs, by doing the things that you need to do to sharpen your skills, to get more information, to even just grab a website, start a Facebook or an Instagram, but you have to do something daily toward your dream. It doesn't have to be huge, but enough small steps are going to get you the momentum to do the bigger things. But you've got to start. No more I'm gonna be. Start where you're at. Start with something today. Kimberly.
Yes. And you know what? I want to add to that. And mine's really simple. Start building, start moving, start creating, start acting, start sharing, all of that. Start now, folks. Don't put yourself on hold. Your dream is big and it truly does matter. So, Misty, the last one we're going to share with you is stay. And I'm going to let you share that, because I love when we were talking pre-show about the concept of staying. Stay what?
Committed.
Yeah.
Stay committed, stay in faith, stay in action, stay in momentum. So the thing with the third part is, once you get excited and you start, life is going to happen, and the forces are almost going to give you the right circumstances to stop. There's nothing stops more people than the start. That's one of Kimberly's quotes, right? Nothing stops more people than the start. Well, here's the thing though, once you start a little bit, you're going to be so proud you started, you're going to want to give yourself a break. Life's going to happen. You're like, well, I did more than I thought I would be right now, so I'm not going to do anything today. But even if it's small, stay committed to that. There's I love the term when you're doing mathematics, and there's formulas to success, that if you follow mathematics, you're going to get the right answer. There's formulas to working out, right? Some of Kimberly's formulas are never skip a Monday and never skip 2 days in a row. If you follow those 2 rules with your workouts, you're more likely going to be where you want to be when it comes to your body and energy. Well, it's the same rules apply with your dreams. Never skip 2 days in a row and never skip a Monday. You can align it right with your workouts, right? But these rules are formulas because they work. Because what happens is, it's not the one time that you stop. It's that one time that leads you to, now instead of 10 minutes or a day, now it's 2 days, 3 days, which becomes a week, which becomes a month, which happens in a year. And then someone asks you, hey, how's that book going? Hey, how's that side hustle going? Hey, how's that idea going? And you're like, oh yeah, I haven't thought about that in 6 months.
Exactly. So true. So true.
Stay committed, stay in action, stay in faith.
And Misty, I like to add, stay the course. That's the word I use. If you ever read anything from me, you're going to say, I say, stay the course, because we know it's slow and steady sometimes it's fast and furious, but as long as you stay the course, you know that showing up, which is what stay is, showing up is 80% of the battle. If you show up and stay the course, you can't do anything but win, my friends. Now, as we close this out, I want to give you one thing that I hear often. Listen, Misty, Kimberly, you just told me to do something, right? Do something. Stop sitting on my dream, to start building, creating, and to stay the course. But I don't have any money. I don't have anything. We have podcasts for you. Episode number 33, titled Fund Your Dreams, will help
33.
you get away from that one. Fund Your Dreams, episode 33, we talk about it. Ways to, if money is an impact, if money is an issue, I said impact, issue for you, we gave you 5 ways to actually create some income to fund that dream, so that that is not a limiting factor, but instead you have everything you need to move forward. See, we are confident that your dream matters. We know that we have a dream ourselves, and instead of sitting on it, we started building. We built these beautiful shirts, Dream Slayer. If you like a version of the shirt, if you want to order your own, we will have a link available for you to order your Dream Slayer shirts, so that you can go out and tell the world, I'm no longer sitting. I am ready and I'm moving. I'm slaying my dream. I am going to move forward in everything that I do. Friends, we thank you for watching again our special show on Martin Luther King's Day. And with that, as we say every single week, there's something out there waiting for you.
Now start and go get it.